Now it's time for my favorite section, because I'm an accounting and finance person, and it's time for us to look at some numbers. So we're now on section 3, financials. So the very first financial piece of information we want to look at is pricing. Pricing can get a little complicated, so we're going to break it down into the 3 different pricing techniques and as well as some pricing strategies. With this information, hopefully you'll be able to find a good way to price your product and a good way to justify it. So pricing techniques. There's 3 that we're going to talk about today. And the first one is called cost-based pricing. Cost-based pricing is just when you're going to figure out how much it costs for you to do your service or to create your product, and you're going to estimate how much money you want to make above that, right? So in the example of Yotes Co grows pineapples for $3 a piece. But we want to make $2 per pineapple, so we would price at $5. So you could either do this with money and say, like, Yotes Co wants to make $2 more per pineapple, because we have to have the price cover our cost, right? Or you could say we want, like, to make 20% profit. There's just 2 different ways of computing that. Whatever one makes sense to you, do that to figure out cost-based pricing. So this method is best used when you understand how much it's going to cost for you to make your product, right? And this is kind of just a simplified version. If you know more complex methods, please feel free to use them. Competition-based pricing. So competition-based is, what is my competition doing? So this one only works if you have competitors that sell a similar to identical product, right? So for pineapples that works because there's only like so many different ways you can grow a pineapple, right? So if Dole Pineapple was selling for $5, okay, then I'll just sell for $5 too. Or maybe I sell just a little bit below, or maybe I sell a little bit above, right? But this will kind of give me my ballpark for what I should price my pineapples at. The third is called customer value. And this one's a little bit harder to compute when you haven't done enough, if you haven't done enough market research. It's what kind of value do your customers perceive you have, right? So maybe I'm growing really, really fancy, bougie pineapples. So even though it's still only costing me $3 and it's the same as what my competition is pricing, maybe they perceive it as cooler than it is, so I'm going to charge $10, right? The iPhone is kind of like this because it's overvalued. So when things are overvalued, that's that customer value aspect, right? Okay, so those are pricing strategies. I've always found, in my experience with the Concordia Business Plan competition, is that this one's been the one for me to most reasonably obtain and justify. Because you can't just say, I'm going to pay $5 for a pineapple. Like, you have to have some kind of justification or like explanation as to why the price you set is the price, right? So this is probably the most popular. This is also a good one if you have a very like-minded competitor. If you're a new company and you don't really have a similar identical product to look at, this one's a little bit harder. Then we're going to take a look at the primary pricing strategies. So this is kind of looking at where you sit on the quality to price scale, right? So this is best kind of demonstrated through this nice little chart here. So up at the top we'll have quality. Oops. Quality. And over here we'll have price. We'll have low, low, high, high. So what we're looking at here is what should be your pricing strategy. So if you're focused on low prices and low quality, you're called economy. So your focus and your pitch and how you're going to kind of justify your prices, right, and the strategy for setting your prices is that you're going to be the economy level. So think like Southwest Airlines, right? Not your best quality flight, but you do get a low price, right? So that's kind of the best example of economy. But what if you want to sell at a low price, but a high quality? That's called penetration. The strategy behind this is that you're going to start with this low price so that you can gain more market share. And then once you've established your market share and people are buying your product, you're going to slowly raise the prices, right? Once you're like essential and you have that base established. But if you want to have a high price and a low quality, this is called skimming. And a lot of times, again, this high price will come from perceived value or some kind of external factor that's driving the price up, right? This is skimming. The best example of this is like an iPhone. iPhones are actually pretty cheap to make, but you're paying $1,000 to buy them, right? Price skimming. Then you have high quality and high price. This is called a premium, which just feels right, right? If you're doing a premium, you've got a high quality, you've got a high price product, you're giving what you get, right? So if you are expecting a good quality, you get a good quality, you get a good experience. Examples of that are like the Ritz-Carlton hotels. If you guys are familiar with those, they're a high quality pricing strategy, but with that comes a higher price. So while you're setting your prices, you need to think where on this chart you lie. So Yotzco, like I kind of mentioned, is focused on quality product, right? So they're going to focus on quality, which puts them towards the higher scale. So I would put them somewhere in this range right here, right? We're selling premium pineapples. It's a very niche market. So pricing information. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to figure out your price through one of these methods, and I want you to justify with a pricing strategy. So these two talk to each other. You should have about 2 paragraphs, maybe 3, however much it takes for you to explain and justify what your price is. If you have different levels of product, so say that I have a mini pineapple and a big pineapple, you're going to need to set 2 different prices. So if you have multiple products, you have different levels, different layers, make sure that you have that established based on the needs of your company. So let's figure out how much those pineapples cost, let's figure out how much they price, and go from there.